Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think figure review. So today we are going to be reviewing the Sherlock figure. Now as usual I've bought two of these. One of them I'm going to keep boxed. I have unboxed another one for the review, but this is one that I'm actually going to use for custom parts. Now I know it's going to seem like a bit of a rare figure, but I'm going to get onto now in a minute why it's actually not as hyped up as people think about it, I'm sad to say. But so let's start off with a good look at the box first of all. So nice, very nice, nicely presented box. We got the 221B Baker Street doors. Tells you what it includes on the side, and then picture of Sherlock. Unfortunately, it doesn't really give you any blurb about Sherlock, which is a bit of a shame, seeing as all of the other toys and figures and things tell you a little bit about it on the back. Once you open up inside, again, kind of like the Time of the Doctor set, you had, you know, information on the inside. It's a bit of a shame that, you know, there's not really anything on there. It's you know, it's something that could have been presented much better. I think you could have had some nice information on there. The figure itself is very nicely presented, as you can see. You know, you can see everything that's on there, and it's got all of the details and things. Why they need to tell you it's 5-inch tall. It's got posable arms on the front as well. I don't really know why they need to put all of that on there. It's not something they usually do, but it is there, and yeah, it's a nicely presented figure. Now let's get on to the figure itself. So first things first, I'm going to take you through its Sherlock's accessories. So he has mobile phone, which is not bad. It's got a little bit of it's basically just a very simple mold of a BlackBerry, but it's literally just plastic. There's no sort of detail on the screen or anything. There's nothing on the back. It literally is just a piece of plastic molded like a phone. The violin and the string bow are very nicely detailed. These are really nice accessories, something that's very nice to have in this set. Very, very nicely detailed, and they certainly look the part and fit the character. The skull, now this I'm very, very impressed with, because this is very well detailed, very well designed, and it looks superb. But unfortunately, it does have the one downside, and that is unfortunately something I'm going to get onto in a minute. But the bottom line is this is the best piece out of the whole set, I'm afraid to say. Because it's going to be hard to describe this in the figure, but literally, when I unboxed this, I picked it up, you hold it, and it feels like plastic. It feels cheap. I'm sorry if this is going to upset people, but there was so much hype about this figure, and it's so good, and generally, overall, it's a great looking figure. It's a great representation of Sherlock, but it feels cheap. And the one thing that people have been moaning about, and people have been saying who've seen this, are saying, oh, the paint on the you know, the paint detailing on the face is awful. It doesn't look right. And normally in my case, I'm like, well, you know, people, you know, really do sort of put too much emphasis on these things and things like that. And so I was waiting to see what it was like myself, and I'm very sorry to say, having it in hand, I don't know how well this is going to come on the camera, but the painting, it's just awful. I mean, it looks, the only way I can describe it, I know it sounds a weird thing, but the paint on the face, it doesn't look molded, it looks painted on. And I know that sounds weird, seeing as it is painted on, but, you know, when you look at stripped down figures and parts, you know, they have molded eyes, they have molded eyelids and molded eyebrows. This just doesn't look like it. It literally just looks like his eyes are blank skin that have had eyes painted on them. It's a real shame that this figure hasn't really come out as good as it is. In terms of articulation, I think, you know, you've got the head, you've got the arm joints, bicep swivel, no ball jointed shoulders. We're back to the old, oh no, there is a ball jointed shoulder, I beg your pardon. It looks like there's not from the outside, but when you actually look into it, it is. But it's kind of defunct because you can't use it. That's as much ball joint as you've got in there because the coat stops it. That's a bit of an odd design to have the ball joint there, but then have the old style design, which means you can't use the ball joint. I don't quite know why they've done that. Waist, swivel, legs all still work. I know some people have been wondering whether you've got leg articulation. Yes, you have indeed. Elbows, hands. Now, I believe, I could be wrong, I believe somebody has said, yeah, that the scarf can indeed be removed. So if you want a scarfless Sherlock, you can do indeed. So I'm sure people will come up with different variations and customs. Now, the one thing I will say, and it's the one thing that I'm actually going to use this figure for, funny enough, the reason I've got one to keep boxed, because I do want to keep one as a figure. It's not, as I said, you know, it's not a great figure, but the reason that I've got another one is I do want to use this for spares, because I want to update my figure of my Doctor, and the coat is perfect for it, as is the shirt underneath. So I really do want to use this figure as a base, so that's the reason I got one, is so I can take it apart and use it for parts. As I said, unfortunately, you know, my reviews of figures and things are often fairly glowing because I do appreciate a good figure and things like that. However, I have to say, I'm bringing some of the final shot here, this could have been such a good figure, and I'm really sorry to say that it's not. It's really not great. I mean, I look at this, I mean, I know, you know, that this is Underground Toys, this isn't from Character Options, but people have complained to Character Options, you know, saying like the 3 and 7/5 inch range, 3 and 3/4 inch range was terrible, they were moulded horrible when you compared it to some of the Underground Toys classic range, and they were so much better. The 5 figures are great and they're brilliant. Now, I look at the Night of the Doctor figure compared to Sherlock, and the detail on this Night of the Doctor figure is possibly one of the best, most detailed figures we've had from Character Options recently. I know they do collaborations with Underground Toys and things like that, but the Night of the Doctor figure is absolutely superb. It's brilliant, and Character Options have done an A1 job with it. And it's just sad to see that Underground Toys have had a really golden opportunity here to do something a bit different. They've got a license to do a Sherlock figure, and I'm very disappointed that it's not been realised as good as it could have been. You know, it's if you're a collector, I would still recommend getting it because it could become a collector's piece. But just as a toy, as a display, it really just doesn't stand up. I'm sorry to say. It's if you're considering getting it and you're not sure, or you're not sure if you want to get it, or you're saving for other things but you still kind of want to get it, I wouldn't worry. Personally, I don't think you're missing much here. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And I shall see you all with another video very soon.